Welcome back to Young Farmer. I am your host, Tashlyn Louw, where we sit down with young farmers who are taking the farming industry by storm. Today, we are introduced to Phumlile Ndlovu, a 21-year-old all the way from Heidelberg, who took over her family business at the age of 18. Phumlile, welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you today. So we're just going to jump right into it. Take us through the history of farming in your family from first generation to fourth generation. Where did it all start?
Obviously, I would like to thank the Young Farmer for having me. It started with my great-grandfather, who was farming with 300 Brahman cattle. And then it came down to my great-grandfather. But unfortunately, my grandfather didn't benefit anything from my great-grandfather because he was in a polygamous marriage. So my grandfather used to work at the dairy farm, and he studied something related to agriculture. From then, he had a white friend who had a farm, but he had to leave to Australia. So that's when he sold the farm to my grandfather. That's when my grandfather started farming on his own. And then when my grandfather passed on, that's when my father took over the farm from 2003. And then in 2021, that's when my twin brother and I took over the farm.
Wow, so interesting. And it's so amazing how even though your grandfather didn't benefit from that, the farming industry still called him and he managed to find his way. Very interesting. So you are now with your twin brother in the farming industry. What made you join or carry on with the farming industry and the family business at the age of 18?
It's because something that we always wanted to do. Growing up, watching our father going through all the struggles that he did in this field, this career. So we always wanted to help out, to grow the business with him, to be part of the business.
Absolutely. And like you were saying, you have seen the struggles that your dad went through being in the farming industry and stuff. I can imagine that it's not the easiest thing, you know. So what were the initial challenges you faced coming into the business at the age of 18 and being a female, and how did you overcome that?
The first one, it was not being undermined by the old male farmers. And secondly, the access to the markets. And also, in 2022, we started planting soybean, and there was a hailstorm. So, yeah.
That's so crazy. Like, you'd never think about challenges like that.
Yes, and we didn't insure our crops.
Okay.
Yes, those are the challenges that I've faced.
That is so amazing, and it's so interesting because I think from someone sitting outside of not necessarily farming, we don't go as far as thinking about natural disasters that can, harm the farm and things like that. And how did you guys recoup from that?
We just continued with the crops. We harvested them, but we didn't get any profit from them. So only now we started insuring our crops so that we can never repeat the same mistake from the past.
Absolutely. And then I always love asking this question because we have seen that being a female farmer, there's a lot of challenges with being undermined by the male farmers. If you could give advice to anyone out there, or just how do you overcome or still strive and thrive to do the best being a female farmer with it being so hard?
I'm still struggling with it. That's the thing. Yeah,
it's crazy that these are the different challenges you have to face just because you are female. So Phumlile, it does show here that you have been part of amazing courses like the SIYB program of the International Labour Organization at NYDA. Please tell us more about that, and how did you get introduced to that?
Yeah, I applied for funding at NYDA, so I had to do the training before. So I applied, and then I got the email a year later. That's when I attended the program. I had to do the program so that I can get the funding from NYDA. Yes.
Oh, that's so interesting. And out of curiosity's sake, how long does the program last before you can get the funding? Because obviously it's a fundamental step in order for you to get the funding. So how long is the program?
The program takes like 2 weeks. It's not long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a 2-week program. But unfortunately, I didn't get the funding. Not yet. Yeah.
So you still have to wait. And how long ago was this?
I applied in 2022. Yes, in 2022.
And then you still
And
have
then
to wait
I had the training in 2023.
Okay, I hear. So you still have to wait it out for the funding and that type of a thing. But also congratulations in taking part in that program, because it does show initiative and obviously the heart that you have for your family's business, you know. And then what are the most important farming aspects you've learned from the Agri Seta training program?
How to keep the production going, how to access the markets, how to pass the skills to our workers.
That's very important, because I think a lot of people just think they can go into this thing blindly, because if you think about farming, it's just digging crops. So would you advise someone going through something like the Agri Setup program in order for them to be more advanced at a young age?
Yes, I would.
Okay,
Yes,
definitely. So I hope the viewers are listening to take part in the Agri Setup program, because it's lovely for you to just get advanced in your skill, you know. And then what are the most valuable lessons you learned from your father? Because you did mention that he is you and your brother's mentor. Is he still in the farming business, if I may ask?
He's just there to mentor us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So he's taking the seat back and giving it over to you guys. Lovely. So what are the different things, the valuable lessons that you have learned from him?
Stay humble. Never undermine others, because you don't know how they've reached where they are or where they are.
Absolutely.
Be respectful. Stay respectful and work hard.
Definitely. And I can definitely see that you do take in a lot of what your dad was saying, like things like being humble and working hard, especially because of all of the programs you've been doing. You did tell me you were doing a training course, I think in Pretoria, you mentioned. Tell me a little bit about that. We're so intrigued to know. What did you go into? You said it was animal production.
Yes, I did my national diploma in animal production at Agri-Skills Transfer.
Oh, wow. And you did say that you are graduating.
Yes.
Congratulations in achieving that. What made you go into that? What was like the extra step that you wanted to take?
When I was 18, we had the conversation with my dad that we're gonna take over the business, but because my dad didn't go to any school for it, so we had a discussion that, because I wanted to go further with my studies, I wanted to go to tertiary.
Yes, of course.
So that's when we came to a decision that I will go and learn more about agriculture outside the farm. Yes, theory wise.
Lovely. And do you feel like it did benefit way more going into that space and learning more about it?
Yeah, I did, and I've learned a lot. I've learned because in our farm we only do like crops, which is maize and soya beans and livestock. So I've learned more about like vegetable farming, feedlot. So I had to learn things that I didn't experience in our farm. I got to learn, yeah.
And it's very interesting because I don't think we actually put a highlight on it. You know, there's different types of farming and there's different types. What do you guys specifically focus on your farm?
We focus on crops, which are maize and soya bean, and animals, which are cattle, sheep, goats, and pigs.
Oh, lovely. And then I do know, because I'm learning as I'm going through this, because it's so interesting. Through different seasons, we also have like a different way in growing the things. And with your crops, you being in soya beans and maize, if I have it correctly, if you said. So what are the different seasons? How do you have to like learn that and adjust? Because if the different seasons come, how does it affect your crops? And then how do you guys bounce back from that?
In September, that's when we start with our land preparation, and then by November, that's when we start planting. The latest should be by the 25th of December, and then we start harvesting around May and April, and then the latest should be early June.
Okay, that is so interesting, and it's so good to know, because someone who doesn't farm like me, I'd think I can plant maize in summer, in winter, sorry, and then I'd be like, where is my crop? So it's very interesting to know that you must also be very aware of the time. And then tell me, with all of your produce, which shops which shops do you give your products to that you can gain a profit from?
We supply our wieners to Garant Beef.
Okay.
It's one of the biggest feedlots in South Africa. And then we supply our soya and maize produce to Afri. And then some of the maize, we use it for our cattle. We make a silage, which is a feed for our cattle.
Oh wow,
Yes.
very interesting. And for anyone who probably wants to be in the space, I think these questions arise a lot, like how did you actually approach these shops and these brands to say, this is what I'm doing, please can you guys like get your supply from me? What were the steps that you took in order to be connected with them?
Just send them the emails, the proof of your business, what you do, and they'll just come around your farm, check what you're doing, and then that's when you can guys maybe sign a contract and then
take it from there.
take it from there.
Simple.
It's that simple. Yeah, you can just check their website and
Okay.
yes.
And then you, Phumlile, being in this space already, what advice would you give any young farmer that is trying to come into the space? What advice would you give them, and what would you tell them on which steps they have to take going further?
It's okay to learn from your failures, from your mistakes. Just stay humble, just keep on learning. In farming you just learn every day, and don't come with that mindset of I'm gonna be rich. Farming is all about money. It's not like that. No, it's not like that. Just be passionate about it, just be patient, and you're gonna make it.
That is such beautiful advice, because I think everyone thinks about money. There is money in farming, but there's obviously steps that you need to take with the process. And I can see that you are very passionate when it comes to farming. So I must ask, who is your farmer role model, and how does he or she motivate you?
My father.
Aww. So he's the one.
He's my role model, and
That is so beautiful,
Yes.
man. That is so beautiful. And then, Phumlile, what advice would you give yourself if it was your first time being where you are now, but it was your first time being on the farm? So you're a younger version of yourself. What advice would you give yourself?
don't beat yourself, man. As I've said, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to learn from them.
I love that. So to younger Phumlile and to others also that is listening, don't beat yourself up. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to go with the process, because that's what farming is about: learning, growing, literally and figuratively. And then Phumlile, if you could have any farm animal as a pet, what would it be and why?
A sheep.
Really? I can imagine though, because they're so cute and fluffy. But I would want to know, why would you choose a sheep?
Firstly, yes, they are cute. And also they're so soft and calm, and they also listen, so it's easy for them to adapt, so yeah, they just
That is very, very cute. You did say that you guys are still waiting for funding. You haven't received funding of that. So the running of the farm, paying of the workers and that type of a thing, does it all come from the profit you are making from the farm directly?
Yes, it comes from the profits that we are making at the farm.
Okay.
Yes.
So institutional help will obviously be greatly appreciated, right?
Yes.
If you could ask for support by any institution where you know they can help you take your farming to the next level, who would this institution be?
The Department of Agriculture, since we are struggling with our land for grazing for our cattle, so we will really appreciate to get help from there.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And what would your dream shop be that you would like to supply? Like, what is the bigger shops that you know is out there that you say, I want my farm to supply to this brand or this business?
Woolies.
Definitely.
Woolies, with our meat,
Lovely. So, Phumlile, how do we get a hold of you and contact you? Which platforms can we do so on?
Instagram, @Ndlovu.
Okay.
TikTok at Phumlile_Ndlovu, and then Facebook is just Phumlile Ndlovu.
Lovely. Do you perhaps have an email address? If institutions are looking to reach out, what is that email address?
Ndlovu@gmail.com.
Phumlile, thank you so much for joining us and being part of the conversation. I also need to commend you for doing such a brilliant job being 21 and handling everything on your dad's farm, your family's farm. I know your dad is really proud, and congratulations on graduating as well. So to the young farmers out there, in Phumlile's words, remember that the challenges in farming is part of the process. So until we meet again next time, thank you for watching. Bye.